Hello comic book fans, here's Earl Grey with my third installment of my top 10 of 2015 comics list. Today I want to show you my favorite crime comics of the past year. Coming in on 10, it's this nice, almost hand-sized comic put out by Image from one Kyle Starks, Sex Castle, about a professional killer who wants to retire in the country, but as you may guess, no retirement for the killing business. And if you see pages like this one, where his co-stars are introduced: Dutch Matrix, Spartan Cobretti, Joe Kersey, Clubber Sampson, The Old Man, Sidney Phoenix, Nico Ryback, The Damn Twins, Thunderbutt. You would think that there are some faces that you have seen somewhere else before. And so this book is a nice little homage to 80s action movies. Totally over the top. And hopefully there will be a Sex Castle 2 sometime. On rank 9, The Complete Pistol Whip. All the comics written by Jason Hall and with art by Matt Kindt. Here you see the main characters, and you get instantly this pulpy, original, experimental vibe that's so typical for many of Matt Kindt's comics. The coloring is from one Mary Enger. It's a bit flat, not as beautiful as the watercolor in Matt Kindt's Mind Management and other comics, but overall a very price-worthy and well-made book. Story-wise, it's a bit like Paul Auster in his early years. I can't say that I've read too much Paul Auster in recent years, but yeah, back then Paul Auster did these crazy stories with strange turns and twists, and this book is just up this alley, but with way more cool pictures than a Paul Auster story. Coming in on 8, it's Satellite Sam, written by Matt Fraction, drawn by Howard Chaykin. This is the really deluxe hardcover edition. With a transparent cover, dust sleeve, and hardcover, and let's do the binding. Soon binding opens pretty good. And yeah, it's drawn in Howard Chaykin style. On the very first glance, you see Chaykin all over. It's a crime and sex and whatnot story in the early years of television, and it's woven around this TV series Satellite Sam. A bit confusing sometimes, I must say, because of the huge cast that is involved in the story. These are not all of the actors and directors and whatnot that are involved herein. On 7 we have Green River Killer, a true detective story. Here I cheat again a bit because this story was already collected or printed previously as an hardcover, which is out of print since a while. And in 2015, Dark Horse printed it again in this softcover. So, but this story is so good that I simply can't overlook it. Jonathan Case drew it in a very clear and functional way. All characters are clearly distinguishable, and in general his storytelling is very easy to follow and very straightforward. And yeah, story-wise, it's about this original gangster serial killer in Green River. You may know the old grunge band Green River, which was sort of a predecessor for Nirvana and Pearl Jam, if I don't mix up some things, but this just as an aside. And it's a loving memoir, actually, from Jeff Jensen, who wrote the story for his father, Tom Jensen, who was a detective back in the day and who worked on this case for years and years and years. The grisly details are actually mentioned, but the camera doesn't zoom into the wounds. It's not about gore, it's about psychology, and if this is something for you, I highly recommend this book. Actually, Jonathan Case put out another comic in the last year, The New Deal, which I have still to check out. A bit bigger than Green River Killer and with a hardcover is this nice collection of a European classic comic series called XIII. It's about a spy with no memory and drawn by William Vance. If you follow my videos, you know that I've done already 2 videos about his comics. And it's written by John Van Ham. William Vance is a Belgian, so this is a Belgian classic. And get instantly this classic comic feel, very detailed art. But as in so many comics that were drawn and printed in Europe, especially in France and Belgium, it's nothing about superheroes, but it's a realistic, very gripping crime, espionage series with so many turns and twists. It's absolutely unbelievable. A bit of bonus in the back with interviews, sketches and documentaries and stuff. I will check out if there is an English translation. I mean, there must be. 13 is something of the real big comics, besides the usual Asterix, etc., etc. If there is one, I'll write it here. So now to the upper half of my top 10 crime books. Fatale. As I said in my video about this book, it's not Brubaker's and Phillips' best book, but still a fantastic book, especially art-wise. Sean Phillips is always amazing. Story-wise, I had some beef, especially with the last part. But if you want to indulge yourself in Fatale goodness, may check out the video about Fatale. Coming in on 4, it's Sequana, the Latin word for the river Seine, the river that goes through Paris, of course. And this is a big, oversized, again, European formatted hardcover. And it deals with some happenings that allegedly took place during the Great Flooding of 1910. And you got this historic vibe with these end papers and a bit of documentary along with sketches in the back. Very well done book that opens very flat, and it's drawn in this fantastic style that reminds me very strongly of an art style that we have here in Europe. It was called Die neue Sachlichkeit in German. I think English translation must be the new objectivity or something like this. You may know painters like George Gross or Otto Dix. They are the ones that came into my mind when I saw this art. It's amazingly beautiful. Every panel is a joy to look at, and it's completely done in this old school coloring technique, watercolor. I mean, you can't be sure today that maybe they've used computer coloring here and there or some effects, but if they done so, it's not recognizable. It's fantastic. And the story as well is it's a story about small-time crooks and big evil things that happen in the story. And the panel layout changes almost from page to page. You have very big pages, big panels that go over a whole page. And again, done in this beautiful drawn and painted way. Mixed techniques. It starts with tiny details like how here the surface of the wet pavement is drawn or painted, and how the water, this wet pavement, bleeds into the other panel. You see it right here. From tiny details to double pages which integrate the panels in this way, which show you the scenery of Paris in which the story took place. And if you love Paris like I do, your heart goes boom with the story. It's really nice. And oh, here's another page I really like, but there are so many pages here. See this mirror, how this all mirrors in the flooded surface. Coming in on 3, it's Mind Management by Matt Kind. The 5th of 6 volumes, number 6, will come out in 1 or 2 months, I think. And do I have to say another word about mind management? Hey, it's mind management. And I think if this series is complete, there's no way around that this will make at least the 1st or 2nd rank in my crime top 10 of 2016. But for now, we leave it at place 3 because there are at least 2 other great comics to show you. And this is Mutter War by Mail and Chris. Fantastic book written by Chris and drawings and coloring in watercolor style by one Mail. I don't know. My French lessons in school are way back then. I don't know how to pronounce this one. But it's a crime story in the setting of World War I. And like in the Sequana book I've shown you, this is again a book that tells historic reality. Let you live in this past times, relive this one, because that's not really fun time, as you can see here, but very interesting, very gripping, and very dark in some places. But it's no hooray, gung-ho war book by any means. It really shows you the sad sides of war, especially not of war in an arbitrary sense, but in a very concrete sense. This is World War I. So we can witness the first trials to use tanks in a war, and these tanks aren't very successful, to say the least. And some of the heroes sit right in the tank, and it goes really bad for them. Without spoiling anything for you, because war, as you surely know, is just a game that nobody can win. And this thick book, it's all in all 200 and more than 250 pages. It's a fantastic book, like maybe Umberto Eco's The Name of the Rose, who showed us the medieval world with a gripping story. This is sort of the same trick, maybe, but honestly, I don't know a better comic about war times. And this includes all the efforts from Jacques Tardy. So, what can be better than Mutter War? Of course, just one book in the world. And here I hear you screaming all together, he's cheating again, because all this stuff came out in years before 2015. just the 7th book, which I don't have already, came out last year, and I've only read the first three of them. But hey, Stray Bullets. Isn't there a better crime book or a comic in general under the sun? I really believe it. Really doubt this. This is such a crazy, dense web of over-the-top, crazy, insane, evil, and therefore, or contradiction to their humanness. Human characters, human but insane characters, which interact on always surprising ways. It's such a fun to read the 3 first trades that I really believe that this may be, along with maybe Love and Rockets, or surely Love and Rockets, and no other comic comes to my mind which can beat this goodness. Stray Bullets. If you haven't read a Stray Bullets issue, book, or whatnot, go for it. I'm really glad that I didn't bought the Über Alles edition, because that was a hefty tome that collected the first 5 trades, and my upper arm muscles aren't as big as they should be to hold such a book. But anyway, if you go for the Über Alles edition, more power to you. The most important thing is that you have to read Stray Bullets, and of course all the other nice books that I've shown you. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.